Greetings and welcome to EnergizeUtv, Season 7, Episode number 15. Are you ready to discover how grief is the only energy capable of forging your most authentic self, transforming breakdown into breakthrough? Well, I'm Angel Marie, your energy alchemist, here today to help you this week on EnergizeUtv to show you exactly how to leverage this neurology to transform your grief and your life. So excited you're here because we're going to be talking about what? And it's grief's gift, transforming pain into power. And every week we take from the Ignite book, Raise Your Energy in 30 seconds or less naturally to shine with more energy, joy, and abundance. Get your signed copy today and come along with me. It's so exciting. Take a deep breath right now as we dive into the beauty of all of this energy that I have for you today. I'm so excited. You can feel the excitement. And thank you, everybody coming on. The chat fingers are coming on. Thank you so much. Let's move because I want to tell you about the wisdom segment. We're going to welcome Karen Jones today. And she's a certified grief recovery method specialist and resilience coach. She has years of corporate leadership experience, and she's worked as a death doula. And she also brings a deeply empathic, event-based approach to healing from any loss that you may face. Dear friend of mine, I've known her for years, so I'm so excited to have her today. These are going to be writer-downers, so remember that. You know how I am about those writer-downers. So get your pencil and your pen. Also, you know every morning I come to you and tell you I love you. Take a deep breath and take that water. So please go grab your water, grab your pencil, and let's take a deep breath. There you go. And you know what else is waiting for you? Oh, let me take a break. There you go. You know what else is waiting for you? Is my favorite, and the favorite to a lot, is the exciting crystal connection segment where we're going to explore a new crystal every week. Also, the energy awareness segment seems to be a favorite also. Is understanding what is energy and how do we really connect to this energy frequency, because it's real and everybody's talking about it, isn't it? So, and then the top pick for many is the energy clearing and reset, where I'm going to do a clearing and a reset to help you in 30 seconds or less to be more balanced. And then, of course, the viewer's fave is the Reiki for Life, where we're going to take some tips and tools about how to use Reiki or energy healing to help you to be more balanced and to have more what? Energy. Yes, because everybody wants energy, right? Pick your up. Everybody wants more energy. So there you go. And then, of course, the wisdom segment with Karen Jones, my dear friend, that's going to be very exciting. And then the highly requested that I get a lot of, and I do a lot of, is the personal calibration, that transmission that helps you to realign and really take in what we all talked about today in this segment. So thank you again for being here, and be kind, please, because people are feeling stuck out there, overwhelmed, and they're like, how do I do this? How do I navigate? So go ahead and share this with them and get that out there so that they can come in and go, wow. And that, because we want them to ignite their gifts and get unstuck. And since, I've been doing this for almost 30 years as a spiritual coach, I help people to get unstuck. So, let's just jump right into this wonderful quote that I really like, that really hit home with me when I read this, because I was like, you know what? This has something to do, and it's about convert your deepest wound into lasting resilience. Wow, neuro-rewiring. And that's what we're going to talk about with the beautiful Karen today, because we're going to dive right in. So let's dive right into the first segment, which is everything is energy, isn't it? And energy is always moving, and we're proven that. And in these are important because energy is always flowing. And if we think about it and we really step into it, it's just like Tesla said, if you want to find the secret of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. It's so powerful, isn't it? Because have you ever walked into a room and what happened? Well, you walked into the room and your stomach dropped and you go, ooh, what's going on? But you don't think about it. That's energy. That's what I'm talking about, energy. Or you're around someone like me. Most of the time I get that a lot. You're around me and all of a sudden you weren't really in a energy, but then all of a sudden you're in this major, like good mood, feeling happy. That's your feeling energy. And understanding that is that we have an energy bubble around us. Let's think of it as like a bubble. And it's called the biofield. And it really is your personal energy field. It is. And that personal energy field has whatever your thoughts are. Ooh, right? Whatever you're thinking. And some people look at it, it's also like an aura photo, because this aura photo shows your aura, your energy field around you in colors. It's real. It's measurable. And the other thing that's measurable is the emotional vibrational frequency chart. That is this chart that rates the frequency. So on the shame, blame, guilt, fear, trying too hard, shoulda, coulda, woulda, blah, 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 and also grief is a lower vibration. That's your energy. But then when we go up to willingness, acceptance, reason, love, joy, gratitude, appreciation, peace and compassion, we are going up on the spectrum. So when you stay in a place of energy, when you're moving that energy and you're conducting that energy and you're with that energy, what happens is you will have more energy, right? And we see that. And people ask me, Angel, how can you do this when you're diagnosed with lupus, fibromyalgia, arthritis, Sjogren's, neuropathy in my hands and my feet, Epstein-Barr syndrome? I could go on with all of this. I'm in chronic pain all the time. The thing is, though, is when you keep your energy high, not meaning I'm dancing all the time, but yet that vibration, what happens is I'm not in that pain because your synapses, you can only do one thing at a time. Isn't that interesting that we're just now getting that? I mean, did you know that your heart generates the body's most powerful rhythmic electromagnetic field? Whoa. Step into that one for a second. So that's why I call myself also an energy conductor. I want to take a moment right now, right here, to play just for a second. I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose, close your mouth. There you go, there you go, there you go. And then make a humming like, beautiful. Do it again. And I want you to put your fingers, two fingers, right there on your throat and do it again. Can you feel the vibration now? That's energy. That's movement. That's frequency. Okay, that's what I wanted to show you, that you have it. You can put it on your heart. You can put it here. And you have that vibrational tone. That shows you that you do. And it's just like, I want you to think about this. And remember, like a musical conductor with an orchestra, you can learn how to do what? Conduct your own life and move energy. And just like what I do, when I go to events like here at eWomen Network Phoenix chapter, I hold space for this meeting, for this luncheon. And what I do first is I go in and I clear the space. So I'm moving energy and I got the invisible energy of people, spaces, and it's really exciting. I do that every month. I also have been virtually on this beautiful online summit that I was at, and then also in person for 2 days at the Breakthrough Experience with these wonderful gentlemen. And that is so exciting when I get to share what I do to help with being that event energy conductor. But you know what the exciting thing is? You're an energy conductor too. You really are, because what do? You move it, you balance it, you manage energy. And the biggest thing that you do is you change the form of energy. We'll get more into that maybe a little later, and that's another time, because that one is powerful when you understand that you can do that. So let's take a deep breath, and you know what? Let's go to our spotlight moment with our amazing lady, Sarah. So she's going to be on next week talking about some amazing stuff. So here she is right now to give us a golden nugget. So write her down, or be right back.
I'm Sarah Sunshine Garrison. I am a transformational mystic who helps women activate their gifts and step into fearless living. And I am so excited to be featured on EnergizeUtv, a space where real energy, inspiration, and conversation lights us up. Angel Marie, thank you so much for creating such a vibrant show that helps us connect more deeply with ourselves and each other. Your energy is absolutely magnetic, and I am so honored to be part of it. Today, I want to share a little bit about my own journey. The day that I stopped dimming my light to keep others comfortable was the day that I found my own sacred awakening. So if you have to dim your light to be in a room, you're in the wrong room. Remember, your energy is powerful, your story matters, and every step you take toward alignment makes a difference. So thank you, Angel, for the invitation to share. And I can't wait for you all to see the full episode. So let's rise, shine, and expand together.
Wow, right? That was a real good one, wasn't it? Now, there's Sarah's website. If you want to go check her out before the show next Thursday, when she's going to be coming on, because we're going to have a good time there too. So there it was. Okay, let's go back. Oops, didn't mean to do that one. Okay, let's hide that one. So here, now we're moving on to the next segment, which is like I promised you, which is the release negativity in 30 seconds or less. Take a deep breath. Start to move your hands and move it down. I want you to start to clap. Move it down, move it down. There you go, move it back. Pick up your feet, pick up your feet, pick up your feet. Breathe, breathe, because this is keep clapping, keep clapping. This is the important part, right? Is the energy of moving all of the energies in the nervous system by just clapping your hands. It's so powerful. And right, just imagine the energy field clearing. Feel your bio field clear, bright, and open. Breathe again for me. Beautiful, beautiful. And I'm back. So let's go to the next beautiful. Oh, I love this one. Grief awakens the heart, and through grace, we rise into glory. Ooh, that's a good one, right? I love that one. So as we move forward now, we're going to be going to the next segment. And the next segment is the Reiki segment. And in this Reiki segment today, we're going to be talking about the profound scientific link between Reiki and grief resilience. Now, did you know that the brain goes into maximum neuroplasticity? Ooh, that's a big word, right? Neuroplasticity after a loss and its primary rebuild. Wow. But you know what? How you fuel that repair, because it always wants to repair, right? It knows what to do. It's smart enough to do it. So the grief, you know what? For me personally, with this grief that I've gone through, with the grief of my mama that left a few months ago, you know, what I was able to do, and you know, it felt like to me like a heavy weight. And in that heavy weight, I was having a hard time getting out. But yet I reached out to people, I got some help. But you know what I really did too was I upped my Reiki and started doing more energy work and more time to relax that energy. And you know, that really helped, because when you're in deep grief, your body is locked in that fight or flight, and your heart rate is up, your cortisol is flooding, and it's scientific that your emotions are running like the show. They really are. And the thing is you just feel stuck. So Reiki is a direct reset, and it does help with resetting that energy frequency. And the beauty of the energy, that it opens the channels, and it amplifies the frequency, and it helps to awaken the body's natural way to heal. And it's powerful when we step into the resilience we're seeking isn't always about ignoring the pain. It isn't. It's not about ignoring the pain or just pushing through it. And it's about converting it. And for me, that's why I increase my Reiki every day. And the beauty of taking time for energy healing, it's intentional, and it helps the nervous system, and it allows your brain to move through and survivor to rebuilding stronger. And that's the foundation. And that's what the beautiful Karen's going to talk about today. You know, I love you so much that if you're carrying this with you and you don't know what to do with it, don't push through, don't settle. I want you to really own it in yourself, and because you owe it to yourself to engage the vagus nerve, to flip that switch to rest, to rest and relaxation, and give yourself a powerful body to change into that transform it to that resilience. Reach out now for a virtual distant Reiki session or even in person, because I'm here for you and I love you that much. So take a deep breath. And I love this quote. This quote is, grief is not a disorder, a disease, or a sign of weakness. It is an emotional, physical, and spiritual necessity. The price you pay for love. Ooh, the only cure for grief is to grieve. I'm going to definitely ask her about this one, about how that is a price of love, because I get chills. Okay, I got to stop talking, right? I'm going to cry. Okay, so we're almost up to the crystal segment and almost up to the beautiful Karen. Yet we have to go to a commercial message. So we'll be right back after this commercial message.
Traditional business cards are often lost or forgotten. This can lead to missed opportunities and wasted time and money. Java Logics offers a unique solution. Eco-friendly paperless business cards that are easy to update and share. With our QR code, you can share your card with anyone, anytime, anywhere. It's the easiest way to share your details. Interested in getting one? Click on Get Offer and get your own digital business card today.
Awesome. Reach out to Preston in Canada. He's the ninja. I'm telling you, tell him Angel sent you. You'll get the Angel discount. Everything's going digital. Gonna get that digital print. You got to get that digital business card going, because it is powerful and people love it. They really do love that. So grab yours today. Tell them I sent you and get that discount. So here we go. We're almost, you know what? We're just going to dive right into Karen. I'm so excited to go into Karen, but I promised you the crystal. So we're going to go through the crystal real quick right now in just a few minutes. And I'm going to tell you all about the crystal of the week. It's a smoky quartz. Okay, I told you. It's a smoky quartz is what we have this week. And I picked it on purpose. Why? Because when you want to upgrade, tune your energy field like an instrument, master your reality. Now, this crystal is powerful because it's perfect for the energy. The spiritual power lies in the deep connection to the earth's energy. And this deep connection is the deep connection that you will find in the smoky quartz. One of my absolute favorites is this. I use this all the time in my Reiki. I put this on I put them on them sometimes or under the table. It's really powerful. It is actually one of my totem ones that I use, and it's believed to absorb the dense negative emotion that is that trauma of energy, right? Of that. So smoky quartz doesn't just block negative energy. It's a stone of transmutation. That's the key word here. It actually absorbs that negative energy or that grief energy. And it also supports your energy body in converting the density of loss into lightness, making way for that clarity and that positive mindset needed for that post-traumatic growth. So use that. It's helpful. And remember that, I like this one. The fact that long ago, Ray-Bans, long before Ray-Bans, 12th century Chinese judges used flat sheets of smoky quartz to hide their eye expressions in court, making them the original impartial sunglasses. Is that not funny or what? I have to put that on there and throw that in because even way back then, right? So remember this smoky quartz absorbs the density of sorrow and creates lightness. So if you know somebody going through something, get them a smoky quartz and hold it with them, cry with them, be with them. They'll love you for it. So wonderful, wonderful. We're moving to the next, which is Karen Jones. Oh, one of my dear friends. I just adore this lady. I was roommates with her at one of our conferences. She was awesome. She's a certified grief and recovery method specialist, a best-selling author, and a speaker, and so much more. She is definitely a light worker. So let's bring her on right now. And we're going to say welcome to her. Yes, there you are. Hi, Karen. Good to see you.
Hello, good to see you, Angel Marie. It's so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome.
I was just going to say, when we were together in Dallas, I just loved how you showed up for everyone. You are what you walk the talk. And since we were roommates in Dallas, I saw the pain that you're in and all the things that you go through physically and what you do, and you don't complain at all. And I'm just in awe of how you manage yourself. And you were uplifting me. So we were doing our exercise in the morning, put our feet up on the wall, and doing our meditation and all that together. And yeah, you're a light for us. So thank you for doing what you do in the world.
Oh, thank you, Karen. Thank you. I appreciate that. And the viewers and the listeners are so excited and they're leaning in to get this topic today. But you know what? Please, who are you? Because we've known each other for over decades. So who are you, though?
Well, I'm just me, but I am, I'm married to a wonderful man. We're newlyweds. We have blended families of adult children, a boy and a girl, each of us. All four of our children live within 20 minutes of us. And we have a delightful grandson who's going to be 3 here very soon. So I'm teaching him swimming lessons, although the water's gotten cold now, so I don't know how much more we're going to do that. But I'm in a former life, in my teens and 20s, I was a lifeguard, and I taught swimming for years and years to adults and children and special needs people. So I have a history of swimming, and I love dogs. I train my dogs to be good citizens in the household. We hike every day. We walk our dogs every day. We hike as often as we can. Love nature. Love having meals outside. The rain we've had the last few days has just been such a blessing here in Phoenix. We live in the desert, and we've had 5 consecutive days of rain, which we haven't had for a century. So yeah, it's been
really a century.
1916. Yeah.
Oh wow, because we were flooded like everywhere. Because Phoenix isn't ready for for that much rain. We don't have that much. But anyway, I love. I got to see that firsthand, and the love that you have for your husband, and it's always beautiful to see that. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that and how you show up, because it was beautiful. So let's dive right in, because I love this quote: "Is resilience is accepting your new reality, even if it's less good than the one you had before." So resilience, tell me about that.
Okay, less good is an interesting component of that. So that's about perspective, isn't it? And what I do is all about perspective. And so grief is something all of us experience. If you live, you've loved. If you've loved, you've lost. If you lost, you've grieved. And so being a part of the human race, we all grieve, and we've never been taught how to grieve. And so part of the thing about what the quote you just said was about being in a new reality. So we're always transforming our lives, sometimes it's on purpose and sometimes it's not, right? And so when we have resilience, part of what I do is to teach grief, and then also resilience as another component to that after the grief. And it's about your new normal. Like when I work with my cancer patients, you have cancer, and if you've survived cancer, now you're on the other side of it, no evidence of disease. Now what? I'm not who I was before, but who am I now? And so on the other side of grief, it's about what am I going to do with my life next? And so your quote about even though it's not as good, it might appear not as good, and it is not as good if you're missing your person for sure. I don't mean to minimize that, but it's about learning to live differently while still carrying what the love that you had with that person and learning from the loss and learning from that. And how am I going to be differently now? How am I going to show up differently and step back into life? Because my person wouldn't want me to be living in a grief life. They would want me to get back into life and do things again and enjoy and experience joy again.
Yeah,
So
that's a good one. And I think that goes right into what you wrote about in one of your books when you talked about the value of the comfort zone stretch.
Yeah. So I was in a book. Where did I put it?
Let's see it.
Yep. So I talk about comfort zone stretches. It's engaging speakers' voices of hope. And the value of a comfort zone stretch is when you go through grief. I'm just going to make a parallel first, and then I'll go into the example. When you go through grief, your neural pathways change. Your person is gone, right? You're used to having your person in your life, and they're gone. And particularly if it's a spouse or a child or a parent, you're very much bonded with that individual. And when they're gone, your brain, the neural pathways are looking for them. Like your dog, your dog dies. I've lost many dogs. I've had many dogs. You come home, you expect them to come to the door to greet you, and they don't. And your brain is constantly looking for them. You get up in the morning, just make coffee for your partner and they're gone, or feed your dog in the morning, you're gone. There are all these habits that you're accustomed to having that now are changing. So our brain is working on overdrive when we have experienced a loss, looking for those habits, those smells, those patterns. And it's exhausting. Going through grief is exhausting for your body. And so the neural pathways in your brain are being rewired. And so part of what I do when I work with my clients is about learning about that and giving yourself grace, not expecting yourself to be performing at the level you were before the loss. And we'll get back to that. We're going to work toward getting back to that, but giving yourself grace and expecting that. So like the value with comfort zone stretch, when I wrote that book, it was about the value of experiencing new things and training your brain to experience new things. And what I wrote about is whenever I feel some resistance about doing something, like in the book, I did comfort zone stretch around, I dislike cold water. I mentioned I'm a lifeguard, and I spent so much time in cold water in Michigan teaching school, teaching swimming, that I was cold all the time. And now I only like 93 degrees or warmer. And a jacuzzi was great. And so I walk by these cold plunge baths in order to, I was in a Grecian, let me back up. I was at an event with my girlfriends. We're at a Grecian hot tub place, bath place. And I kept walking by these cold plunge pools. I kept saying, oh, I would never do that. We were by the third one, and I said, I would never do that. And I realized, okay, I have to do that. When I have resistance, I force myself to do something to comfort zone stretch. And I did it. And I did it again, and I did it again. And I loved it because there's a hot jacuzzi to jump in afterwards. But granted, I see the value in it. So I explain that just because it's a comfort zone stretch, and the value in getting on the other side of that. You can't see it when you're here behind it, but when you get on the other side of it, it's different and it's refreshing, and you realize you can do hard things. So
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And that's interesting because when you resist, it's really when you learn. And that's really what we're talking about here.
yeah,
And here in Phoenix, Arizona, the pools are already too cold for many people. So there's your cold plunge. So you have no excuses. Anybody in Phoenix, anyone in Arizona, get in the pool, just go and do a cold plunge, right? I mean, it's not really that hard. Let's move on, though. I really like this one. It's guilt. Excuse me. The friend who can be silent with us in a moment of despair and confusion, who can stay with us in that hour of the grief and relieve it, who can tolerate not knowing, not healing, not curing. That's a friend. Tell us about how to be a friend to someone that's going through it.
yeah, I'm really glad you brought that quote up because it's so important. Grief needs to be witnessed. That's so important, a part of the healing process. So when people are grieving, I encourage them to be with their friends and their family and their community, and to step back and to make the nuance on that, to be with someone that is a good listener and that can be there and be supportive, because There are people that they have good intentions, but they don't necessarily know how to be present with someone who's grieving. So I have people ask me all the time about what to say to a griever. And so part of the freebie that I'm making available to people is what to say and not to say to a griever. So because people, when you're with someone that you know or you don't know well, you want to say something, you don't want to say nothing. And people say the darndest things because they don't really know. Some things that are not ideal to say are, well, you're young, you can have another baby, or you're young, you can have another husband or wife, right? Well, that doesn't acknowledge the fact that I want that baby or I want that spouse, right? And so it's not really helpful. So people say things like that that are really, it feels insensitive to the griever, but it's they just don't know what to say sometimes. So, or to say, I know how you feel. Well, no one can possibly know how another person feels, right? So, or be strong. Be strong for your brother or your wife or your mother, your child or whomever. And so these are all avoidance types of comments that people might say. Or there's a reason for everything, or God took another angel, or God can only give you as much as you can handle. Those
Well,
are all intellectually correct, but they're not
but
helpful for the person.
right. And I think one of the biggest one is what I got a couple months ago is when people were finding out, they were calling and then they were telling me the story about their mom or their dad or their, that is not helpful. And I actually said it to someone. I said, honey, I'm going to stop you. Because she talked like for like 7 minutes. I mean, just, and
Right.
and it was like, I can't hear, I don't want to hear about all of that.
Right.
And I said it and she's like, Angel, it's really hard to talk with you sometimes. I don't know how to. And I'm
Mm.
like, so it
Well, good for
is.
you. You're pushing back. Yeah. Yeah. So it's what's more appropriate to say is, I can't imagine how you feel. That's a truth, right? Or if it sucks that this happened to you, or I don't know what to say to you, but I'll listen.
Mhm.
Or people sometimes say, "Well, let me know if I can do anything for you." That's not really helpful. It's meant to be good intentions, but maybe if you know them well enough, say, "Can I walk your dog for you?" Or "Let's go to lunch," or "Let's go to a movie," or "Let's go do something together." Right? And so it's more giving them something more specific that they can do that you're accustomed to doing with them. Yeah.
Fabulous. Yes, fabulous. And you're going to grab that free gift at the end, and then you'll have all of those, and those are going to be really helpful. Let's jump back for a second because I think the listeners and viewers really want to understand how this emotional chaos and something that they can do right now, right here, to
Hmm.
help them to get through that. Because the stats on this, it's staggering, isn't it?
Hmm. Well, yeah, the stats on grievers, there's no shortage of grievers. There are estimated to be about 8 million people that have someone that die in the United States every year. And with
8
that,
billion?
mhm. And the divorce rate is between 40 and 50% in the United States. And so you have a lot of divorces every year. 14 million pets die every year. And so that plus thinking of all the financial problems, the natural disasters where people are losing their homes, financial distress, losing the job, health crises. So in any given year, that I don't know what the number is, but grievers, there's no shortage of grievers um, at any point in time. And so for having us learn and get educated on things to say, I really encourage you to get my freebie because it's very helpful. It gives you confidence to know how to talk to people.
Yeah.
But yeah, grief is everywhere
Yeah.
for
Wow.
sure.
So what is one thing, that they can step into
To
that
step
would,
into to help themselves.
yes, that would help them after someone passes? Well, I'm going to talk about someone passing away or a pet because, um, I mean, even with my mama, um, it can be a grief because she was losing here. And
Hmm.
when she was losing here a year ago, I grieved her then. It was a mess and I reached out and I had people come. I went to see people. I did a lot of energy work
Hmm.
because I was just, but she was still alive, but she really wasn't there.
Yeah.
But she remembered me, and she remembered her prayers and her songs that I sang, but
Mm-hmm.
she couldn't have conversation.
Yeah.
So when she passed, it was more of a, I'm celebrating. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And now it's been a couple of months, maybe, I don't know, maybe less than that. And I'm feeling sad again because I miss her.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, there's so much I want to say about all of that.
Yeah.
Um, well, that's anticipatory grief because you know it's coming. Oh, sweetheart, I'm here for
Wow.
you. It's okay. Let it out. It's all right. Let it out, honey. That's a lot. So on one hand, you knew that it was coming. You knew that she was ill. She was in hospice. And then the reality happens and then she's gone. And now you're dealing with the reality of her being gone. And so you're in that, your brain is in that place of rewiring your neural pathways. She's no longer here. So now what? I no longer have my mama. I've lost both of my parents too. So I remember when I lost my second parent, my siblings and I said, we're orphans. And you're creating a new identity for yourself, honey. Yeah, it's okay. Let it
Yeah.
out.
So
So, and there's something else I was going to say about that, all of that.
just maybe some more things that you can do, because I know listeners, viewers, you're like, I'm just getting. I'm gonna let you go. 'Cause-
Okay, so one thing that's really big when a grief is fresh is not being able to sleep. And so, when you're laying awake at night or in the day, or you can use this for anything, for pain or anything. It's called PMR, Progressive Muscle Release. And so there's a Dr. Francis, what's your whole name? Dr. Mary Frances O'Connor, PhD, has written a book on the grieving brain and the grieving body. She's a PhD in Tucson, and I just follow all of her work. And she's learned, this is kind of surprising, but I know you and I are both big on mindfulness practices. And so she did a study to determine if PMR was more or less effective than mindfulness practices. And they expected mindfulness practice to be more effective, but it wasn't. PMR is basically where it releases stress and it takes your mind off of the rumination of whatever you're thinking about, the pain or the loss or the grief or whatever. And you just close your eyes, take 10, 15 minutes. You can sit down or lay down flat and just think about your different muscle groups. So start with your toes and you curl your toes tightly for like 10 seconds. Not until it hurts, just tight. And then release. Breathe in, breathe out. And then do the next muscle group up, going up your ankles and your calves and your thighs and your abdomen, your stomach, all the way up to your head and your face. Squish. So it takes about, depending on how many muscle groups you work with, to do that. But take 10 or 15 minutes to do that. But it's important to do 5 to 10 seconds hold and then 10 to 20 seconds release. And in between. And that is a pattern interrupt for the rumination of the thought of the pain or the grief or whatever you're thinking about. And that practice was actually more effective than mindfulness. So that's one thing. I'm going to give you a list of several things you can do. So that's the first thing.
okay, wait. Tell everybody they're writer downers, so make sure you got your pencil. These are writer downers. You know I love these. So do these. Good,
Okay.
good. Because I just did it and I actually feel better.
Progressive muscle relaxation for 10 to 15 minutes. And transitional object. So thinking of your 5 senses, transitional objects could be something like their perfume. You might have it handy or cologne and put it on something that you might want to smell once in a while, or something visual like a flannel shirt. I had a client who his wife passed and he sold his house, moved into a houseboat, and he didn't want to sell the couch. It was a couch they bought together. It meant a lot to them. She loved it. She was a decorator. Well, you can't take a couch on a houseboat. So I said, why don't you take piece of fabric from the pillow and put it in like a memory box or something. He said, oh, that's great. So use your sight, your smell, your sound, your hearing, all your 5 senses, something that can remind you of that individual can be like that. So a transitional object of some sort. You can, like a wedding ring, you might wear it. A dear friend of ours just lost her son, and I sent her an email yesterday saying about there's something you can do with the ashes of your deceased family member to have a diamond made from the ashes. And she said she's going to do that. It can beautiful. It's a whole thing.
Didn't know about that. Did you get that? That's a writer downer because that's a beautiful one.
Yeah. So elements in nature. So maybe you went to the beach with your loved one and you picked up seashells. Pick up your seashell and have that somewhere. You can put it in a memory box or an altar. Or I have my mom. My mom passed away, and she was a quilter. And her group of quilters, they called themselves the Old Crows. And so I have her little old crow that she had in her kitchen window here on my desk to think of her. So transitional objects are really nice. Relaxation techniques, meditation. We talked about the PMR, but also mindfulness, breathing, deep breathing with long exhale breaths, sound baths. So that's the third one, relaxation techniques. The fourth one, prioritize your self-care. So make sure that you're getting enough rest. Rest is so important. Make sure that you're eating healthfully. Take care of your body. Do gentle exercise. Don't do hardcore workouts.
If I could just interrupt for a second, I want to jump back one thing, because what I find when I'm doing my coaching with people, they don't eat. It's not that they're eating healthy or not healthy. They just don't eat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Big one.
Yeah. And I remind friends when they're attending to a funeral or having a funeral of someone in their life to eat, even though you don't want to, especially protein and water. Even if it's a piece of cheese or hard-boiled egg or something. It's so important. You'll be able to have a better, clear mind to manage all the stress that you're going through and talking to people.
Okay, go ahead. You were talking about exercise.
Okay, so self-care, this was number 4. Prioritize your self-care, which exercise is a part. Engage in some social support. Go to your place of worship, bereavement groups, spend time with your family, your friends, whatever your community is. Spend time with them, getting out, making eye contact. Touch is important. When people have lost their loved one, they're used to holding hands, being hugged. I always ask people if I can hug them. I don't just assume, because not everybody is a hugger. But physical touch is something that especially elderly people have told me they really miss when their loved one is gone. Expressing
that happened to me too. Is I wasn't going to go to church. And my friend Susan called me and she said, "Are you coming today?" And my mom had passed on Saturday and it was Sunday. And I said, "I don't know. I feel numb. I feel angry. I have all these emotions. I don't want to go and then just cry the whole time. I didn't want to do that." And she said, "Angel, I don't care. You need to come because everybody will support you in whatever way you show up."
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And I showed up and I was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I really was fine. I got through it. I was sad, but I got through it. And then at the end, she came over and she sat with me. And then another lady sat with me. And they just listened to the being able to tell stories. But I wasn't in a really sad, I was sad, but I wasn't so crying that I couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to share that.
Thank you for sharing that. That's so true. Grief needs to be witnessed. And that's why we have funerals and celebrations of life. It's not for the person who's gone. They're gone, right? It's for the people, the family members, to know and hear the stories about what that person meant to them. You hear stories of things that they've done together that you may not know of as a family member, right? And it's just so helpful. And back to things to say to people, sharing memories of what you share or knew about that person. I heard so many funny stories about my brother when he died, that crazy things he did in college with friends. So it's fun to laugh. It's fun to know that your person meant something to someone else. And I want to back up for a second. We're only talking about grief here with regard to passing of a loved one, but there are so many sources of grief. So I want to remember that when we're talking about grief here, that I touched on a little bit in the beginning, but the Grief Recovery Institute, who I'm certified through, recognizes over 40 sources of grief, from death, loss of relationship, but also, health, finances, pets, emotions, faith, or not emotions, but faith, hope, safety, security in the cases of incest or physical abuse of some sort. So there are a lot of sources of grief when I'm talking about grief here in this umbrella. Okay, but getting back to things to do. Express your emotions. Feel and talk about grief. Don't bottle your emotions. As part of the quote that you said before I came on camera was about being able to express your grief, and that's a part of resilience, is getting back and being able to talk it. Because when you talk about your emotions, you're letting it out. When you don't talk about something that's difficult, that's bothering you, you ruminate and you ruminate and you ruminate and you stay stuck in that place. And part of getting through the grief is realizing where you're stuck. What wasn't working in the relationship? Do you feel guilt? Do you feel resentment? What could have been, should have been, what could have been better, more, or different in the relationship? And so allowing yourself to process those things is really important. That's what I do with my clients.
Yes, and it's really important, and we're getting close to the end here. If you just, because I want to just say one more thing and then see what you have to say on this. And I know I interrupted, I apologize, is to ask for what you want.
Mm-hmm.
That is the biggest key that I was able to do with kindness and with love. But I asked for what I want, and I asked for what I didn't want when I needed whatever that was. And that
Mm-hmm.
can be like going through a divorce, the kids move out. There's lots of ways of loss, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to touch on your free gift and show the free gift right now so that everybody really, this free gift, grab it. You want this, and tell us a little bit about it or finish what you were saying because
Okay.
I can't believe it's already at the end.
I can't either. I have so much more to talk about. So the first one I've talked about, it's the helpful things to say and not say to a griever, and how to show up. The other one is how to deal with unresolved grief and the signs of unresolved grief. This is a really, really helpful document for yourself or someone you know or love. Both of these are things that people ask me about all the time and are extremely helpful. So you have some action steps so you know what you could do for yourself.
Wow, you gave so much, and I so appreciate you as I'm putting this in the chat for everybody that's on the line. And thank you for everyone that is on the line here today in this beauty. So any lasting words before we go?
I would say just notice when you're not feeling right about something. You're grieving. There's something going on. It might be fresh. It might be long ago. Grief needs to be witnessed, and 100% of us grieve. So I could pick up a person in a crowd, and I can do really deep work with every individual. So there's no need to suffer. It is possible to recover from grief.
Yes, it is. And to be joyful again and be
Mhm.
able to keep going. Just don't fake it. I don't fake it. When I need to cry, I cry. I
Yeah.
guess I needed to cry earlier because I don't
Yeah.
stop it. Don't
Yeah.
stop what you feel because it'll hurt you. It really will.
It really will. And so being resolved from grief means being able to step back into life again and not being afraid to love again because you might be afraid of getting hurt again. Being able to step back in life, and being able, rather than let your circumstances control you, you get to control your circumstances and your joy. And it's recognizing that you can talk to people about your sadness without worrying about what they're thinking or saying. And it's about being able to just express yourself openly. I can tell you want to go. So, okay.
Yeah.
I
Thank
can go
you
on.
so much, Karen. And you know what? You learned a lot today, viewers, listeners. Please reach out. You get back to everyone. So thank you so much for being on the show today. I appreciate you.
Thank
Bye,
you for
Karen. Until I get to see you next time. Love you so.
love you too, sweetheart. Thank you for the time.
Awesome. I mean, wow. Totally hit that out of the park, didn't she? I mean, lots of beautiful, beautiful ways of really handling that grief in your life. So as we move on, I wanted to give you a VIP gift. Please take the picture of that QR code right there so I can send you, or so you can get on my calendar, because I want to know your story. I want to get to know you. And that's the important part here, is to get to know you. And I want to say thank you, because I see you and I celebrate you and I thank you, because you're the ones that are helping me and helping this to get out to people so that they can heal, that they can transform, understand energy. And you're the one that's helping me with 75,000 views a month, 3.3 million minutes viewed a month. Thank you, because celebrating you and celebrating your neighbor and giving it to your sister, your brother, your friends, your family. That's the important part, so that we can all rise together, right? And get through this, because there's so much uncertainty and stuff, and I know that. So getting through that, and I so adore you and thank you for that. Now, I promised you that we would do a calibration. And in this calibration, this would be a transmission. So we're only going to take a few minutes, but we're going to take one moment here. And I want you to take a deep breath. One more. Feel my words here as I start, and as you start to feel this activation, calibration, transmission, I want you to be able to seal your strength for the next week, to really seal that, so that the week ahead you feel this energy vibration coming through that is connecting you to your higher self. Breathe in that love and light and beauty. Breathe in the intuitive intelligence. Breathe in the celebration of who you are. There you go. Just take a moment to breathe it in and let it out, and know that you're going to have a great week, that you are amazing. And take another deep breath and come on back. That was a quick one, a beautiful one, just to transmute that energy. And could you feel that energy? Because I think you can, and it's important that you hear this vibration. And you know what? I'm going to be here every week at 11 o'clock Pacific time and catch the wisdom wave with the amazing guests, because I'm going to be here and I love being here. And this isn't just a show. It's a movement. It's a global impact. And next week, we're going to have the beautiful Sarah, and her theme is sacred self love. So we're going to be talking to her next week about that. But now we're up to is the song. So let's take a moment to step into breathing our energy. And remember, your energy is the music of your life. So keep it tuned, keep it flowing, and keep it shining bright, because I'm going to be here every Thursday for you for the last 7 years, and it'll continue. And we're going to have guests from all over the world that are going to bring, just like Karen, the amazing Karen that brought so many golden nuggets and great wisdom energy to us to lift us higher. So also, and you, I'm talking to you. Yeah, I'm pointing at you. I want to hear your story. I want to hear your message, because what? Yes, the world needs to hear what you have to say. And so reach out. I'd love to feature you right here on EnergizeUtv. So until next time, keep igniting your energy, activating your joy. And the most important thing is what? Is to elevate your abundance, because I love you until I get to see you next time. Let's sing it out and let's do it. I can see that Karen's moving, so I'm going to bring her. We're going to dance for a few minutes and get it moving.
You got ambition, fire and soul. Look within your heart, let your spirit flow. Ask for what you want, show them what you got. Take it to the top, don't you ever stop. Shine, shine, shine on. Raise your vibration, shine, shine, shine on. Looking for the answers, seeking you will find. Open up your heart, leave it all behind. Smile and laugh, always give back. Glowing like a star, show them who you are. Shine, shine, shine on. Raise your vibration, shine.